right, Windows Insiders. Welcome from all around the world to our 6th anniversary webcast. We got lots of stuff today, so we're going to turn it right over to Jason and try to dive right in. Jason?
You're muted, Jason.
Jason, yeah, you're still
Of
muted.
course I'm muted. That's how this always happens, right? It wouldn't be any fun if I didn't do something wrong to kick this off. Let me get started by saying, time to celebrate 6 years of North Face Hiker figuring out why there's an echo. Thanks, Rich. I appreciate that. Today it was just I didn't audio at all. I don't know what else to say to kick this off other than thank you. Right, this entire webcast is going to be dedicated to you, the Windows Insiders out there all around the globe who participate in this program, who for the past 6 years have hung out with us, spent time with us, taken builds with us, shared bugs and feedback with us, gotten to know us as we've gotten to know you as well. This has been quite a journey, one that's not over yet, not by any means, but each year at this point in time, we like to take a moment to stop and reflect, to not only say thank you, but to look and see how far the program has come. Because going all the way back to 2014, on September the 30th, there was an announcement released that, hey, we're going to be doing this really cool thing. And the very next day on October 1st, the program kind of kicked off. So September the 30th really is technically the birthday of the program, at least of us announcing it, even though some folks may say tomorrow is the official go date. Either way, one date versus the next, it doesn't really matter. But this whole episode is all for us to come together and, like I mentioned before, for us to say thanks. And we have a ton of special guests today. We have some Windows Insiders who will join us, some Windows Insider MVPs who will join us. We have some product leads from across different aspects of the Windows and Microsoft organizations who will come and share a little bit about the features they're working on, things that are important to them, how the Insider program has influenced their work along the way. We'll obviously take a few questions along the way, and we have a few special things that we're going to show, just as another way of saying thanks on top of all of that. So as we're rolling here, let's take a moment and do introductions. I am Jason Howard. I am Senior PM here on the Windows Insider Engineering team. Let's just go in order, right? So in the little box next to me, you will see the one and only Amanda Langowski. Amanda, you want to say hi?
Hi guys, happy anniversary. This is pretty cool. We've been involved in this for so long, on the back end and the front end, and I'm really excited to have some insiders today and to have some people that I work with every day on the PM side come talk to you guys. So thank you so much.
Jen with her wonderful blue blanket of
comfort.
Blanket
Yeah,
of
blanket of
death.
Yeah, I don't think you can see that much of it in the video, but
it's a BSOD blanket. Now you need a green one for the Insider program.
I do. Yeah, I'm Jen. I work on the team that owns the Windows shell. I've been doing feedback and community stuff for these areas for a really long time now. I don't think I had this much gray hair when we started.
I didn't have this much gray in my beard, so
I know, aging, it sucks. But yeah, I mean, I'm super happy to be here, and along with this whole process to see how Windows has improved so much over the years, and I'm looking forward to what's next as well. But yeah.
Let's just keep going. So Brandon, you're up next.
Hi, happy anniversary. I guess I'll just keep it short since we have a lot of people to go through. So you guys all know me. I'll be on the chat. I have gray everywhere. I'm old.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Don't hold back there.
Yeah.
It's funny. Vivek, unfortunately, there's a glitch with his video, so you don't get to see him directly. But you want to say hi nonetheless?
Hi everyone, happy anniversary. I am the blue box in that 6 box left.
You look
So
great today, Vivek.
yeah, I know it's a little bit of shaded, but it's good. I think I like the color, so I go with that. So happy anniversary, everybody.
Hey, and no gray, right? You don't have any gray to show off. if for those of you in attendance in this webcast, if you do remember a couple months ago when we talked about user research and our customer up efforts, if you attended that webcast, you did have the opportunity to see Vivek on cam. So if you take a throwback or you go watch the replay of that episode on YouTube, you'll be able to see his smiling face nonetheless. And of course, Eddie, the maestro behind the scenes, controlling all of this, on DJing on the ones and twos here. Eddie, you want to say hi?
Yeah, it's more like the 1s and 16s today. I'm telling you. So I want to again echo everyone's sentiments. We got a lot going on today, so I won't take a long time. I'm the newest member of the team. I'm one of the community managers here. Primary job is keeping Twitter going and answering questions and helping folks out there triaging bugs. So I really appreciate. I know everyone on the team does, but I really appreciate all the feedback you folks are doing, putting this out there for us and giving to us. So keep them coming. Keeps me employed.
And Eddie's got some gray too. I'm trying to catch up. Oh goodness. Hey, so with that, I've had a little fun in past webcasts where some of them I've completely winged it with no kind of order of operations or a kind of the table of contents of things that I wanted to go through. Actually, for today's episode, because it is kind of a special one, I did make a list of some things that I wanted to cover in a specific order.
And did you make the list in OneNote?
It's actually in a Word document. Like I got a little fancy with it. So with this one, one of the things that I mentioned that we had a couple of interesting little tidbits for you today. We spent some time reflecting with leaders around the company and especially across the Windows organization, asking them questions about how Windows has been affected by the Insider program, what it was that they appreciated about it. And rather than us coming back and kind of reading some quotes and verbatims and things to you, the insiders, we decided to put together a little bit of a video. And you will see some familiar faces and some familiar names, people who've been on past webcasts, people who've been on the podcast, some people you've seen some of our corporate announcements and blog posts come from, but they all came together and shared a little bit of sentiments about the program, and they too wanted to jump in and say thanks. So Eddie, if I could get you to load that up and get that rolling.
Happy 6th anniversary to our community of Windows Insiders. From Nana Abba, our Grace Hopper Award winner using robotics for medical research, to developers like Jeremy, .NET Lover and MVP, to our hackathon winners James, Mauro, and Antonio. The stories of our community innovating with technology are countless, and to 18 million of you around the world, we thank you for helping us improve a better Windows for the future.
Happy anniversary, Windows Insiders. We are so grateful to you, our biggest Windows fans, for being with us these past 6 years to help us evolve Windows to more than 1 billion devices around the world. On average, you guys have spent 142 hours a month across nearly 300 Insider Preview builds. That's just incredible. So thank you. But don't just take my word for it.
Windows 10 is an open, inclusive, and accessible platform that can help everyone achieve their goals. Thank you for your continued participation as an insider to help make Windows a better product for everyone.
Technology has never been more important than it is today. Thank you very much for helping us create amazing experiences that meet the needs of our customers across their work and personal lives.
Thank you for your contribution and incredible feedback to help us improve Windows quality.
Thank you for sharing feedback to help us innovate with increased flexibility. This innovation helps Windows 10 users achieve even more.
We've seen customer satisfaction increase as we've made fixes, many times based on feedback you've provided us as insiders. It's getting these basics right that gives us the space to innovate and create new experiences and capabilities.
From the beginning with Windows 10, we wanted to move people from having to choosing to loving Windows. Thank you for your help and dedication to Windows.
Your feedback helps us put customers at the center of our development process. We look forward to continuing to partner with you all to understand and meet the needs of our customers.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you for being a Windows Insider.
I just want to say thank you, Windows Insiders, for everything you do. I mean, I love this product. And here's what's amazing. You love this product too. It's so clear. You've helped so much over the last 6 years, from something as subtle and in the background as touch, pen, voice inputs, all the way to what's in the foreground with Windows Hello or the Your Phone app. We couldn't do this without you. There's no way. You are helping shape the future of Windows. You're helping us bring innovation to the platform that I love and the products that everybody uses. Over 1 billion people use the products that you've been such an amazing part of bringing to life. I just want to say thank you. I personally am grateful for everything you've done. I love this product. I know you love it too, and that's what excites me. So keep going. Thanks for what you do. It's been an amazing 6 years.
Thank you, Eddie. I don't know what to say about the video, right? Like it's amazing seeing so much. I don't really have the right words. I don't get like this very often, right? I'm usually just kind of technical and straightforward, but it's super awesome to see everybody come together and share the appreciation in the way they did, even with the surprise guest at the end that I don't know if anybody saw coming on that one. It was awesome to have Panos in this video along with everybody else. There are a lot of people inside this company who care about this program. And you know, I won't take the thunder away from the whole Insider team because it's what we do day in and day out. So of course we love it, we care about it, it's super important to us. But just you know, I'll say it once more, this program wouldn't be what it is without each of you out there who contribute day in and day out, who give us the feedback, who tell us what you think of the builds, and then all of the hopefully Microsoft folks that you've had the ability to interact with across the years, whether it be on social media or back when we got to do conferences in person. You know, I know we've met, you know, numerous insiders from all around the globe and some of the travels that we've done. But it's a whole lot of fun. I love coming to work and doing what I do every day. It wouldn't be the same without all the participants around the globe. So I won't stutter on through this too much longer, but I will just simply say thank you. You're gonna hear that theme throughout the rest of the broadcast today, but it's a really heartfelt thing that we want you to understand, like how much this means to us. So I will jump. Go ahead, Amanda.
I just really want to say, like, reaching out to folks on the team and saying, hey, it's the Insider anniversary. Could you guys, say a little bit? I got responses from almost everybody immediately. Absolutely. I wish I could just I wish I could walk through the halls anyway right now, but we're all in our own houses, but just walk through the halls and see how many people actually, are looking at feedback. And I know it's hard when we get so much to make everyone really understand that it really is a big part of our culture, and how learning about how insiders use and love our products and don't like some aspects of it as well really does help us kind of transform these things. It's not just we just don't do this here every day in and day out. Jen's pushing people to get some bugs, and we have a HACCP team. It's really cool to see. So I was very excited that we can kind of do that. Bug fixes, yeah. We wouldn't have to fix them if we didn't put them in. I get that as well. It's a fun thing, right? But totally. So thank you guys.
Thanks, Amanda. With that, let me shift over to the first round of guests that we have for you today. As I called out in the intro to the episode, we have a few Windows Insiders and Windows Insider MVPs that we wanted to bring on. I don't think we've had a Windows Insider of any sort outside of like the core MS employees on a webcast before. I know we've done some on the podcast, but I think we're breaking new ground here. We're trying this out, so we'll see how this goes. So we have 5 different folks here today. Cannot wait to introduce each of them. So I'll run through and kind of spoil the list, and then you'll get the moments to kind of chat with these folks here. So the guests that we have for you today are Jeremy Sinclair, Elizabeth Lynn, Ian Dixon, Paul Warren, and Raphael Kolner. So some names you may recognize, some names you may not. I don't know how much time you do or don't spend on social, but it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We've got some questions lined up to ask them relating to the program or whatnot. So if I could get you to transition, Eddie, and bring up Jeremy. Jeremy, you are first up on the hot seat. Awesome. Number 1, thanks for making the time. I'm glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here too.
So real quick, can you do a little bit of a self-introduction? I spoiled your name, right? But can you tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of where you are in the world, and like what you do?
Yeah, so I am Jeremy Sinclair. I am out of Wheeling, West, and MVP. During the day, I am Engineering Specialist 3 at Oric.
Awesome. When you talk to your friends and family about the Insider program, how do you actually describe what do you tell people the Insider program is?
I tell people the Insider program is a way to the latest and be able to contribute text version of Windows.
And going back, have you been an Insider since 1?
And such an exciting process. These deaths.
So that leads me to another question, of course. What keeps you coming back? What is it that, being a day 1 Insider, obviously, here we are 6 years later, quite literally, what has kept you coming back across this span of time?
Just the excitement around the new features and the new bug fixes. Just looking forward to what I can get my hands on, because I have so many different devices I like to test with, and whatever is out there for me to help out with, that's what I'm down for.
Mm-hmm. Coming back to this, what's next for you? Like, what do you see yourself doing next? You're in university at this point. You're participating in the program. Kind of, what do you see happening next?
Well, yeah, today's like my first day back at school, so I'm really excited to start getting more involved. Like, obviously, a lot of activities on school campus have become online, but that's more exciting because when we have things like hackathons at school, we can hopefully utilize this to encourage others and other students to utilize Windows Insider, because I feel like that's a great opportunity to just be able for them to learn more, but also for me to expand my personal experience with Windows Insider to my peers. And so I'm really looking forward to be able to continue learning and also to spread the mission of Windows Insider to impact people around the world. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, I apologize once again for the interruption. I hope I didn't put you off too much, but I will say to you as well, thank you so much for making the time today. Greatly appreciate you being here. Congrats once again on your previous award. Congrats on continuing through school. I know it's a challenge. I know it can be rough, but you have a bright future ahead of you, and no doubt we'll be hearing from you again.
Thank you.
Right, Eddie. Next up, I believe, is Ian. Ian, how's it going?
Hello. Okay, great. Thanks.
So can you tell those folks listening in, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you are in the world, and like what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm Ian Dixon, Windows Insider MVP for 6 years now. By day job, I'm an IT manager in the UK, and so an enthusiast for Microsoft and Windows technology. So those two meet pretty well together with the Windows Insider program.
I was about to say, it sounds like they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So, similar question: when you talk about the Insider program, what is it that you tell people? Like, what are some of those memorable pieces that you bring up in conversation?
When you well, the Insider program, it means you get to test things first, or get to try new things first, and there's kind of a part of me, from my enthusiast point of view, wants to try the new things all the time and play with new things and break new things. And then my other side of my life is my day jobs. I want things to be stable and not break, and everything to be not break at all. So, you know, being part of the Insider program is you get to test new things like that, but you also get to see what's coming down the line. And so I can kind of use it for a professional capacity and see what's coming, when I know what's coming up and what I need to test in the workplace. So it gives you that, you know, access to now and what's coming.
Right. So, similar question: how long have you been at Windows Insider, just in general? Are you a day oneer?
Yeah, day one. Yeah. I was originally a Windows Media Center MVP. Shout out to all Windows Media Center fans.
There's a little bit of a throwback.
Yeah. So I was a Windows Media Center MVP, and that's how I kind of got into this. Was kind of I just loved like trying Windows and seeing how I could fit it into my consumer life. So back when XP Media Center came out, and then I've kind of evolved as the platforms evolved and the use of technology has changed. So yeah, so right from the beginning as a Windows Insider.
So we talked a little bit about how you got connected into the program. So what keeps you coming back? What is it about the program that has given you some of that, I don't know, I'll call it the stickiness aspect? Like what keeps you around? What keeps you here?
Well, there's always something new. That's what I like. So when the technology stays the same, that's when it gets boring. And you know, that's what my day job stuff. Everything stays the same. But you know, as me as an enthusiast, I want to see new things. So it's when things change, and I like communicating the changes as well. So I do the hands-on videos. So a new build comes out like there was today, and I'll do a video of that, show what's changed, stick that on the YouTube channel. And I really enjoy that, sort of talking about what's changed and looking for the changes. So it's kind of that's what I think brings me back. There's a constant change.
There's always something to investigate. Even in some of the builds where there's not a ton of things, there's always something. There's always something to be discovered. Yep.
And there's always something that's not you know, just something not in the release notes, but you think, oh, I'm sure this is new, and I do like that.
And that's the kind of stuff that drives Brandon nuts. It's like, how did we not include that? It's always funny. It's always funny.
I'd rather have some of those little things. I love finding those things. They're putting them on Twitter. Saying, is this new? Really? Is it really new?
So looking back at the past 6 years, it's been quite our journey. What would you say is your favorite moment from that time period?
Yeah, it's a difficult question. This, I think, perhaps the initial launch was a real big. Windows 10 launch was the real big deal. I mean, I've been on various beta programs for Vista and Windows 7 and Windows 8, and it was really about seeing people getting interested in Windows again. I think Windows 7 was great. Then Windows 8, there wasn't that sort of people weren't excited about Windows as much, and then Windows 10 kind of brought back that some excitement. So I think it was probably that launch of the excitement and doing the builds, you know, testing the builds prior to launch. So I think that was probably highlight. And then it's just you know, every time something new comes, that's the new highlight. It's always what's next is the next thing, the new highlight.
Yeah, it's definitely a change of pace from the way things have been done in previous editions of Windows. And I mean, I love seeing the longevity of the program, right? We're 6 years in, and we're definitely not done yet.
Yeah, we had sort of 2 public builds or something like that to test. So it's a long way from that.
So you mentioned in your intro that you're a Windows Insider MVP. What does that mean for you?
I think it's the recognition, like Jeremy said, it's the recognition that that you're doing something that's useful and people find interesting or insightful. So when you talk to other people in the industry or someone at Microsoft, if you say you're a Windows Insider MVP, it means something. So it's got that sort of quality bar that you've got to attain, so that you know, when you're dealing with other people, they know that that hopefully you know what you're talking about.
Awesome. So being an MVP, right? It's part of that process is contributing back to not only the insider community but to the tech community kind of broadly. Given what you do for a living and given the length of time you've had inside the program, obviously you've had numerous opportunities to do these things. What are some of the things that you personally do to contribute back to that broader tech community?
I think there's a few things. Well, first, like I mentioned, I like to do the real videos, and hopefully that helps people out to see what's changed. But also, it's then, as well as the feedback, but actually, you know, if you spot something that isn't working, being able to, through social media like Twitter or whatever, just to shout out, say, is this broken? Is this for me? And being able to get sort of that feedback, and then also being to contribute as part of the broader community and help people where you can. And if you see someone, you know, I've got some searches that I have on Twitter, so you can see if someone's having an issue and they're using the app Windows Insider thing, and if I can see something I can help with, I can jump in. So it's being able to sort of interact with the community that I find really good. It's great to be part of the community and the other insiders and the other insider VPs.
So it seems like you spend a great deal of time really just helping people with Windows, with insider tidbits along the way, with some of the videos that you create. It seems like it's a pretty big part of what you do kind of day in and day out.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, it helps for the day job as well, because at work I'm keeping everything stable. So I've got to, but also keeping things up to date. So I know, you know, that, you know, the 2004 build comes out that I'm going to start rolling out at work. I've been testing that for 6 months or whatever on my own machines, you know, in my own time. So I know so that helps me with that side of things as well. Yeah. So fitting it all in with my workflow is, I've sort of got used to it. So a new build comes out, I know that's what I'm doing that night, and you know, just do a quick build video, and yeah, and I do the weekly podcast. So we've got these. I've got these sort of routines around it all now.
Awesome. Well, Ian, I will say, I once again, right, I feel like I'm a little bit of a broken record, but you know, thank you for making the time today. I know it's in the evening where you are, a little bit different time zone than we're in. But do hang on, because you know I do have one more question I'm going to follow up with everybody on at the end. But again, thank you for making the time. Really appreciate you kind of carving out a piece of your schedule to come and spend with us.
Thank you,
Eddie. If I could get you to roll over to the one and only Paul Warren, who, speaking of time zones, my goodness, Paul. I think this is gonna. I was gonna say, I think this is gonna settle home for people. You were definitely the one making the time this morning. So Paul, you've had a little bit of FaceTime in the Insider program previously, but I no doubt there are folks out there who don't know who you are. If you could do the same thing as others, make a little bit of an introduction, tell us kind of where in the world you're located, and then kind of what you do.
Sure. Okay, I'm in Auckland, New Zealand, so right down the bottom of the planet. It's early in the morning here. I'm a senior systems engineer at Tower Insurance, and I'm also a Windows Insider MVP and a Humans of IT community ambassador as well.
That's quite the resume you have going there. So I'll start off very similar in this vein. The Windows Insider program. What does it mean to you when somebody asks you about it or you tell somebody about it? What do you tell them? Like, what are some of those first things that come to mind?
Well, the crystal ball metaphor, that really has resonated with me for a long, long time. So I often, like the other people, talk about, hey, this is, you know, you'll look into the future of Windows, helps you with feedback, getting information, passing on issues to Microsoft. But mainly, I guess my main focus is really in the enterprise. And my goal is, everywhere I've worked the last few years, is I'm all about, you know, we need to stay current, but with minimal disruption. So that's where the Windows Insider program, especially Windows Insider for Business, comes in as a key thing for me.
So going back to when you joined the program, Did you join 6 years ago? Did you find out about it later on? When did you kind of hop on the insidering train, so to speak?
I guess my story is around. So I took a lot of time off to be a home dad. So I've got children with one was Asperger's syndrome. So I took some time off. So 6 years out of this industry is actually quite a long time. There was a bit of worry myself around, hey, how am I going to really get back into this? And really, the Insider program was, I felt, my way of not just getting in and finding my niche, but getting ahead of the game. So that's really one of my main reasons.
So what keeps you coming back?
Well, everyone talks about, the new technology, and that's cool, but really ultimately it's the community that's been built over the 6 years. The community of insiders, the insider team themselves. That's really my main passion. I love this community.
6 years is a long time. And I personally, I had the fortunate luck to have met you in person. Obviously, along the way, you became a Windows Insider MVP. You've had a lot of experience with this program and with other touch points within Microsoft. What would you say is your favorite moment if you look back over the past 6 years? Like, what is, if it may not be easy to distill it down to one, but if you had to pick one of those things, like, which one would you pick?
There's been a few, but for me, it was the Big Ignite conference in 2018. That was when I got to meet all you fine people for the very first time. Made some really good friends, connected with Eddie for the first time, and we've become really, really good friends since then. And it was also my first trip to the United States, so it was quite an epic. I think it's just been 2 years, a few days ago, since all that happened.
It's hard to believe it's been that long already, because it definitely doesn't feel that way. At least not for me, I'll say that much.
Some days it feels like yesterday, some days it was like a lifetime ago, but yeah.
Okay. So similar to what I asked Ian a moment ago, the MVP aspect of your participation in the program. What does being a Windows Insider MVP mean to you?
Well, ultimately, it's a recognition that is given to you by Microsoft, so that's quite a huge thing. And you go and have conversations in your work as an engineer, and they're great conversations. But once you have the MVP status, those conversations start to become a bit different, and your organization and other people around you almost see you in a different light. You've got that validation from Microsoft and from other people that, hey, there is an acceptance that you probably know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a specific level of expertise, and not only that, but a level of like time commitment and effort to reach that level of recognition. And there is no denying that it takes hard work to kind of achieve that and to obtain that recognition. I will say, through your continued contributions to the community, the things that you do day in and day out, right, you've more than earned that. And I mean, I'll just say, I once again, to each of the MVPs that are on this call, like, definitely appreciate the efforts that you put into connecting with the broader insider community, the Windows fans, just kind of globally. And that's one of the interesting things about the Insider program, is it's not just limited to being local, right? You could have an impact locally, but given the scope of the program, that we're not just confined to one country or one small set of countries. I believe at this point we have insiders in every single country around the world, which is still a little bit mind-boggling to kind of conceptually think through. But it gives each of us the opportunity to kind of connect broadly and have a bigger impact than just me being one person behind my computer, or you being one person sitting where you are at any given moment in time. Like, and then just having that MVP recognition. It's immediately, like you mentioned, kind of like that moment of, oh, they're an MVP, right? It brings with you some of that trustworthiness and some of that recognition. It does mean a lot. Yeah. So outside of what you're doing at work, are there any other specific things relating to Windows and the Insider program, things that you do to kind of help people or whatnot, you mentioned in your intro that it wasn't just about the Insider program for you, but it kind of opened up some other doors.
Yeah, well, definitely. So, along with doing things like blogs and, the odd meetup here and there, one thing I'm really passionate about is the Humans of IT community.
Mm-hmm.
And that's around, we share a lot of our stories, both on a technical nature and a personal one. So for me, I find that to be really, really important because it humanizes this industry, which can sometimes not seem that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's easy to get kind of caught up in, oh, hey, this is the next tidbit of technology, or this is the next feature that's coming out. But at the end of the day, we're all people. We're all here together. We're all trying to do great things. I mean, you can reflect back to the larger Microsoft purpose, the mission statement that we have, and it really is true, right? We are trying to empower every person and organization on the planet to achieve more, and the Windows Insider program is just one of many ways that we're trying to do that. And so I will say thank you to you the same way I've said thanks to each of the others for contributing towards that broader mission and for being a part of the program. We wouldn't have it without each of you being here. So thanks, Paul.
And thank you guys as well. You do amazing work.
Eddie, last but not least, if you could roll over and pull up Raphael. I've had the pleasure of chatting with Raphael before. I've been on his podcast a couple times, which has been kind of fun. Big cheeky smile I'm seeing over here on Teams. Raphael, for those who may not know you, would you mind doing the same as the others? Tell us where you are kind of hanging out in the world and a little bit about what you do.
Thank you very much. At first, happy anniversary. And we have a great party today. So yeah, my name is Raphael Kölner. I come from Cologne in Germany, so it's nearby to Ian, only 1 hour for flight. And it's in the evening now, and it's dark outside, and so we have dark mode here. And I'm working for BDO. It's a Microsoft partner, BDO Digital, as an executive consultant. And we are helping companies, middle market to enterprise market, to roll out teams and to make it compliant and secure. So I'm the lawyer on the other side and the secure and compliance guy on the other side. And over the 6 years, it's a great challenge, but we solve everything. So for out of a view of security and compliance, and also have a view back on Ignite with the new announcements on Endpoint Protection Manager to Windows 10, cloud installation of Windows 10 out of the cloud. Awesome. So yeah, really great.
So I'm just gonna guess that you're a day one insider. I don't know why. I'm just gonna take a guess here.
That's right. That's right.
So when you talk about the Insider program, what are the first things that you mention? Like what is the story you tell people?
Yeah, that's a good question. Often talking with people, for example, in my family, they are only using Windows 10. They don't install, they don't configure and all of this. And I'm describe, okay, the Windows Insider program is this program where the geeks meeting the normal people, and the normal people often help the geeks. Because all of us and a lot of geeks are also here, and we love the program. We installed every Insider build, and often we miss some daily challenges of the people, and we have to hear what our community want, what the people want outside. And so that's for me a very great opportunity that normal people come here meeting geeks in the same program, and helping each other and talking about a product and bring the people together out of different countries, different knowledge, and also, yeah, bringing the normal people together.
That is one of the most fascinating aspects of the program is the diversity that you find in people and talent and backgrounds and culture and pretty much any word that you can ascribe to that bucket, because being an international program like this, everybody has the opportunity to participate. Really, the only barrier to entry is having a computer and running Windows 10. Other than that, the door is open to everybody, and we welcome all folks around the globe to come and participate. So going back to the beginning of the program, why did you join? What was it about the Insider program that made you say, hey, I think that's cool, let me try this?
Yeah, let me remember. It's one of the first days of the Windows Insider program announced, and I see a podcast with Gabe Orr, with one of the first Windows Insider guys, and yeah, and we sit together drinking some beer here, some local beer from Cologne, and with some guys, and said, okay, that's a great program. It's the first program we can give feedback to Microsoft directly, not only via the feedback button or all of this. So giving feedback directly, and we said, okay, they want feedback, they will get feedback. So we founded a community here in Germany. We have around today, after 6 years, around 9,000 people only in Germany. We put together and chatting together and installing the insider builds together and chatting on Facebook and all of this. And yeah, this grows up. We started it as a community with 10 people. So chatting about finding bugs, being the hunter for bugs and all of this. And now we are over 9,000 people. And yeah, we are hunting bugs today too. And normal people meet the geeks. And that's cool.
That is quite the growth in your small community that you've helped build out from 10 to 9,000. Wow. So looking back across the past 6 years, what would you say if you had to pick one out? What is your favorite insider moment from that time frame?
That's a very, very hard question. There are a lot of moments. But okay, I have one. Everyone is telling something. My friends from the Insider community, Insider MVPs, out of the last years. I will tell you one from the first year. The first year, first Ignite, Windows Insider program boost. Some of the Insider guys, Blair, told me, "Hey, Raphael, come with me and tell a guy something about Windows 10 and the Windows Insider program." And I was from one of the first times, so from one of the worst Windows Insider, and said, "Yes, why not? I'm talking every time about Windows, so let's go." And I go, and we go the stairs and go to a room, and the room was dark, and what happened there? Okay, there's someone talk about Windows. Okay, let's talk about Windows. And open the door, and we come in, and there was a stage. We have chairs on the stage, and there are a lot of people. And we say, okay, what's here? Yeah, and it was a worldwide press conference about Windows 10 of Ignite. And we are sitting there and talking about Windows 10, and it's like today. You ask question in this time. One of the vice presidents asked us question what we love about Windows 10. So that was one of these moments you only have when you are in a community, and someone asks you, "Come with me." There's someone who has question about Windows 10. Okay.
It's one of the fun things is you never know what's gonna happen. there's always the next story to be made, and you have to go out and do something to have the fun of telling the story that ensued from it. So obviously with the community that you've helped build locally, and then your participation kind of on social and more broadly, right? What is your favorite thing to do when you're spending time helping people with Windows or things related to the Insider program? Like where's your heart at? What do you like doing the most?
My really hard is to helping people, and I'm all a lawyer in this time, but I'm not the really biggest geek, but for me it's very important to connect people. And for me, it's I want to know why it happened, why we can't shut down an insider build and it rebuilds every time and all of this, and I'm giving feedback and all of this. But for me, one of the main topics is to connecting people. So, for example, I got someone said, "Okay, I have an issue here, and I have a Lenovo X390A out of 2014, and I don't know why, and there's Windows 10 on it." And I said, okay, but I know someone in my community, they have the same device, so let's connect and let's talk to each other. And then after 1 week, after a day, I get a message, that's the right guy, he helped me, he had the same issue, it was a driver for the keypad, for example. So that's what I like.
Awesome. Well, hey, Eddie, if I could get you to do something, because there's one more question that I want to ask the entire group, because it's a very forward-looking question. So if I could get you to kind of bring everybody back up at once, and I'll kind of go back through in the same original order that we went in. So I'll start with you, Jeremy, if I can. what do you want to see next from the program? I mean, we're 6 years in. You've seen things change over the course of time, but what do you want to see next?
What I want to see next, I want to see maybe even more recognition for the Windows insiders who have contributed a lot, like more say more like leaderboard. So I think then there used to be a leaderboard for bugs and feature requests, etc. I think that would be great. Maybe even more insight for businesses to know, because currently they have to go to the Windows blog to even know anything about the previews. I say it's just more visibility outside of all of us.
Okay. Elizabeth, same question to you.
I think it would be great. Like right now, there's a lot of features that Windows is pushing out, and by every build that we push out to the community, I feel like it's important that we're targeting also the student community, because maybe there are really cool features to use, and we want more people to test. But testing the demographics of students or early and career users can be really important and an important data point to help expand and even improve and add more features for Windows that will target and improve the experience for that specific group. And I feel like that is a great potential that Windows has and have been doing. But I hope that we can expand more to the student community so that they know a lot about this. So
The opportunity to do a little more in that space.
definitely, yeah.
All right. Ian, I'll pass the mic over to you.
Yeah, I just want more things to test, more shiny things, new things, new bits of Windows, Windows 10X, anything that you can throw at us. I want to test anything new. So give us more.
All right. Paul?
Well, I guess I always look at things from the enterprise. For me, I've moved through a couple of jobs the last few years, and I've noticed, coming in, trying to put the Whip for Biz program in at a lot of different places. So my challenge is out to the partner community to actually look at the Windows Insider for Business program and incorporate it into your projects when you're going on site to a client. That it's really a critical requirement these days for Windows as a service. Otherwise, it just seems like you're doing a half-baked project. So that's my challenge out to the, especially the partner community.
So rather than it being something they potentially find out after the fact, have kind of a lead in to help them get set up, running, doing some of those previews to get them, in essence, a head start as they're doing these roadmaps and this development.
The right example is I've just started at this insurance company. They're transitioning big time into M365. They've done their Windows 10 migration, just finished that off not long ago. The advice was, okay, stick on the September releases, do one a year, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, no way, man. We're going to go evergreen. We're putting in the Insider for Business program. You seriously think you're employing an MVP to not do this? And I had conversations with the consultants and saying, essentially, and I guess that's where the the MVP helps, that you turn around and say, actually, no, your approach is wrong, and this is the way we're actually going to do it now. And so, and I got a lot of buy-in from the business, and they're really keen. And it's important as well, not just to do your Inside of a Business program in IT only. You've got to get the entire business involved. So that's my view.
Awesome. And I'll say, just thanks for being the advocate. Thank you for like kind of driving that point home and leading with the good messages.
Definitely.
Yeah. Raphael?
I totally agree to Paul, and he knows it. It's also my point, but I have one point more I want to add is what you started in the last financial year to giving feedback to the insiders. We report a bug, and you give feedback. Yes, the bug will be fixed in next build. So you influence the program. You have a chance to that your your reporting will be heard, will be seen and heard at the insider team, and that's what you do via your podcast, Jason, with Jen every time on Twitter, Brandon, and also all of the team. This is so. Please don't stop. Make it forward, and give us feedback. And also, we as the Windows Insider MVP, and also as insiders, give us feedback. Say how you want to have the feedback. So if I wrote only it's a Lenovo and it don't works, it don't helps. So that was my wish. Give us more feedback back. We are a community, and we are all part of a community. So give feedback.
Awesome. I mean, we ask for feedback. The least we can do is help provide additional feedback in return. It's good insights. So thank you for sharing. Before we move to the next segment, I just want to say to each of you, once again, really appreciate all 5 of you making the time to come and join us today. Like I said, I know you had to carve out time from work or school or the morning with your family or your routines, the evening with your family, whatever it may be, because I know, again, scattered kind of around the globe. This whole webcast is about saying thanks, and the words don't always seem to like drive home just the emphasis behind it. But I will once again say thank you to each of you. Thank you for your continued contributions to the community. Thank you for participating. Thank you for the insights. Thank you for helping keep us on track. It means the world to us, and we can't do it without you. Our team can have reach and influence, but when it comes down to it, it's folks like you and then the broader insider community that really takes the message and kind of shares it to the rest of the globe. So keep up the good work. Thank you all once again, and I don't know. No, we'll obviously be talking more soon. Like I don't know what else to say. I just want to say thanks again.
Thanks to you for having us on.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
very
guys.
much.
Thank you, team. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers. Man, I love these kind of conversations. They warm my heart. It's like I love getting to take a moment and tell the folks out there who do this day in and day out how much I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. Eddie, kind of, what do you want to transition to next? But yeah, like what's next on the roadmap? Okay. Well, we'll take a moment, let Eddie do the transition and bring up some of the PM feature owners. So let me take a moment to kind of introduce the 3 folks that will be joining us. If you have listened to some of our recent podcasts back in August and then earlier this month in September, we did a little bit of the history of Windows 95 hitting its 25th anniversary. We talked about the origination of Start and Taskbar and some of those features, those iconic things in Windows, how they got their start. And then in the September episode, we kind of transitioned to talk about how they've evolved. If you listened to that particular episode, hopefully you did. You had the pleasure of hearing one of the guests that I'm going to bring on today. His name's Eric Papamarcos, who is very heavily involved in the Start menu side of things. Eric, thanks for making the time. Thanks you for coming and joining us. I'll just kick it off. I'll actually kind of ask you the same question I asked some of the actual insiders. Where are you located within the world, and kind of more broadly, what do you do?
Hey, Jason. Thanks for having me. So I am located at the headquarters here in Redmond, Washington, not in the office, of course, but at my house. And I am a product manager on the Windows Experiences team. And like Jason mentioned, I spent a lot of time working on the Start menu. And so that's what I'm here to talk about today.
Awesome. So first up, given that we're talking about your feature area, I have some insider related questions I absolutely want to ask you. But let me give you the stage for a moment. Are there any particular features, changes, any notable things that you want to kind of drop a plug out to the insider community about?
Well, I think I'm supposed to do a demo, so I think maybe I'll switch over to that now. So yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me get that going. Gonna share my desktop. And I'm going to talk just a little bit more about the theme-aware tiles feature that we released earlier this year. And like Jason was saying, definitely check out the podcast if you want to learn more about that, because we really deep dived on that topic quite a bit. And so just to talk about the change a little bit, what you're seeing on the screen right now was the experience that we had before. This is the start menu, what it looked like before we made the change. And a couple of the things, or the reason why we made the change that we did was we used to have black and white or monochrome icons in the start menu, but then we switched them to these colorful icons. That's what you're seeing in the screenshot, is the colorful icons for things like calendar or photos or your phone. And what we found when we looked at this is that it wasn't ideal to have a colorful icon also on a colorful backplate. And we heard this loud and clear from insiders as well. There was a webcast earlier this year where we heard that feedback. We actually showed some early design comps to get feedback. And it was super valuable to hear from the community about, hey, like, we love the new icons, but we would love if you could improve sort of the area that they were shown in. And so the change that we made, I'll just pull up my own start menu here, is we introduced a feature called theme-aware tiles, and it includes a couple different things. First thing is related to the apps list. So we removed the colorful backplates behind the icons, so the icons were sort of directly on the frame behind it. And we think this is great because it sort of puts the focus on the icon itself and not the backplate, really lets the icon shine. We also centered the letter group headers because we didn't have those backplates anymore, and so it made more sense to center align the letters with the icons. And then for the tiles, we applied a partially transparent uniform color to those tiles. Here I have dark theme because I'm kind of in a dark theme state and I want to do some demos for that. But we also support light theme if you switch that on. And we also support a colorful theme if you turn on your accent color. So this is, you probably are already familiar with this. Hopefully you're testing it out. We'd love to hear if you have any additional feedback on it. But I did also want to demo something that was a little bit more recent in the build, and that is a dark theme search results experience. So one of the other things that we've heard from insiders, and I think Raphael even mentioned a couple minutes ago that he is using dark theme right now, is we want to support more things in dark theme throughout the experience. So now if I search for example, wallpaper, my search results background is in dark theme, which is great because that's what I'm already using, and the transition from start into search is a little bit more natural. So this is kind of a basic search experience. Let me also search for the weather. And you can see the weather preview on the right, the more detailed view with all the illustrations. This looks great in dark theme. And again, it's just kind of what I'm expecting while I'm using dark theme. And then one more just for fun. If I search for Bellevue restaurants, again, this rich detailed view on the right supports dark theme. Just looks really great. And so we're really excited to bring this to insiders. Would love any feedback that you have about this. But we think that this transition from a dark theme or an improved dark theme start menu with the dark theme more tiles, and then transitioning that into the dark theme search results experience, we think that's a really great improvement. So we'd love to hear any feedback that you have about those search results experience. And thank you to the Bing team for kind of partnering with us on this to deliver it to insiders.
I mean, I'll just say it's nice not being in dark theme and having this big bright white menu kind of pop up. Having that match into dark theme as well as, it may seem like a small change, but it's just one of those things that once you get it, it's like, oh yeah, I almost didn't know that I wanted it, or I couldn't put it into words. And then when you have it, you're like, yes, that is exactly what it was. That was the thing that I needed. And a little bit of your intro earlier, you actually touched upon one of the couple questions I want to ask you, was about how insights from the insider program and the insider audience more broadly kind of influenced your feature. You mentioned the webcast we had earlier this year. It was back in January. I remember it very fondly. It was a super fun webcast. If anybody out there that wants to go back and see it, we have this on our YouTube channel. I'll give a link to that at the end of the webcast. But how is the insider program, just kind of, I'll just leave an open-ended question with you. How has the insider program kind of influenced some of the work that you're doing in this space?
It's been tremendously impactful. I mean, the webcast in particular was super impactful for the theme or tiles feature. Quite frankly, all the feedback from that webcast sort of propelled that feature from idea, from a design, into actually coding it. So that one was super instrumental. For the search results experience, I believe that dark theme search was one of the top pieces of feedback for search, as you can imagine. So again, that's another example where we kind of saw that jump to the top of the leaderboard, so to speak, in terms of feedback upvotes. And so, yeah, it's been tremendously valuable to hear the feedback on Twitter, on Reddit, Feedback Hub, wherever we're getting the feedback has been really valuable.
Awesome. I will just simply say, I mean, some of the same thing I said to some of the other insiders, right? Windows wouldn't be Windows without the features that make it Windows. That may be a little bit of a word soup right there, but the reality is every day there are tens of thousands of people making contribution to the futures of how Windows gets developed, what users see on their desktop, the user experience, you know, and it drives everything from the quality of Windows, the satisfaction with the product. It highlights some of the feedback we get from insiders versus what we hear from kind of retail users or even commercial and enterprise users. We take all of that in, we kind of, you know, bring it together in one healthy pool of insights and information and user research. And then we have the very fortunate pleasure of folks like yourself turning all that into kind of actionable results with OS changes, design changes, things of that nature. So, right, I mean, I said this at the same time on the podcast, but I will reiterate it here once again. Really appreciate your time, the efforts that you put into this, the impact that it has to the community. The insiders love seeing changes. I know that you have feedback. I won't sit here and list some of the stuff I've seen on Twitter just in the past week, but I know that you've got a lot of feedback sitting on your doorstep. No doubt there's more to come in your particular space. So on behalf of the insider community, to you and all of the folks that you work with in the Start space, thank you, Eric. It's greatly
You're very
appreciated.
welcome. And thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. All right, Eddie, if I could trouble you to jump over to Roberto with the super fancy background that he's got going on here. I love the team's backgrounds. Kind of highlights what we're actually going to talk about a little bit, which is the earphone space. So if I could ask Roberto, would you mind introducing yourself to the audience and tell them a little bit about what you do and where in the world you happen to be?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Jason. Hello, Windows Insider community. My name is Roberto. I'm a group program manager for the Your Phone app team. And I'm trying to work remotely from Bothell, Washington. Happy to be here, being part of this celebration.
Awesome. If I may, I'll just start you off with one of the questions that I had shared with Eric, which is in relation to the Insider program. And I will say, every single day I see feedback coming in about your particular feature area. What are some of the experiences that I guess maybe just the insiders have helped kind of guide along the journey, right? Your phone it's been around for a little bit now, right? It doesn't go back to the full length of the Insider program, but it's been around a while. It's gotten some traction, and people seem to love giving you feedback. So, like, how has that kind of influenced what you're doing in this particular space?
Absolutely, that's a great question. Actually, I put together a few slides to help answer that question. Do you want me to share?
Yeah, please do, please.
All right.
Oh, it's that same background. Awesome.
Same background, so coordinated. No, that kind of going back to your question, it so happens to be the 2nd anniversary of Your Phone app this week as well. It's hard to believe that it's been just 2 years since we launched this app. And from day one, the Windows Insider community has been a crucial part of our development. I went back and looked at some of the interactions that we've had. In the last anniversary, we were part of the blog post on those features and those applications that the Windows Insider helped us put together and improve. So we're part of that blog post. we have had interactions over these couple of years, direct interactions with Windows Insiders. You can see some of our posts there. That's part of the team that is working. So Windows Insiders has definitely been a crucial part of bringing this app to what it is today. Just to explain a little bit on how crucial you all are to what we do. We go through different rings in our development for the Your Phone app. We start with a feature, we collect your feedback, we prioritize the feedback, we build it, we test it internally within our team. Then we move to the next ring, which is Microsoft internal. Then that's after that is that when Windows Insiders come in, and that's where we start tweeting things out and kind of giving you that first peek of the new things that are coming up before we release to the general public. So we take a look at all of your comments. We cannot fix everything, of course, in the same in a short time frame, but we do read everything and we take it very seriously. So we really appreciate that. I'm excited here to kind of show you a few of the features that you have asked for that are not rolling out to Windows Insiders or general public very recently. So some of these have been tweeted about, some of these have not been tweeted about yet. So you will be some of the first people to see these new things. The first one, we hear a lot of feedback from messaging. A lot of people love to send text messages from their PC. So we are making it more delightful. So when you have a compact view, we have kind of a different layout that allows you to focus on those messages. We've heard feedback from you as well on how you want to create new text messages from the app itself. Previously to this feature, you were only able to reply or create new text messages for a single recipient. Now rolling out to Windows Insiders, now you can create conversations starting from the Your Phone app. So thank you for your feedback. We have also recently rolling out an updated settings experience that will make the management of the app a lot easier. And in this screenshot, you can also see how we heard feedback about kind of privacy. Since you're kind of on your PC, you get text notifications from a lot of people. Sometimes you want that notification to kind of be visible, including the content. Sometimes you may not. So now we're giving you the ability to select which type of content you want to see on Windows, those notifications. Device management, a lot of you maybe switch to a new phone, buy a new phone, or have multiple phones. We've heard a lot of feedback about making it easier to add new devices into your phone app. So we're rolling out a new experience to add new devices and being able to select the one that you want to use as primary. Finally, notifications. Notifications is important for your phone. Now we're introducing a new functionality to pin the notifications you don't want to miss or lose inside your phone app. So there's a little ... You click on that one, and now you can pin your notifications. So we have been so excited to work with all of you that we decided to also create an official handle for your phone app. So now you can follow us on that official handle. Of course, you can still ping me, CC me, and I'd be happy to engage with you. Also, I was talking to my team, like what else has the Windows Insiders helped us do? And it's not only about the product, it's also about the support that we provide to our users. And the team came back to me and said, hey, you know what? A lot of the feedback that we received from the Windows Insiders community helped us build and create the content for our new support side. So thank you very much. This recently rolled out, and you can check it out on aka.ms/YP support. Check it out, and if you see and if you still have feedback on things that you want more support, let us know so we can update it for you. Finally, just keep that feedback, keep those ideas coming. We love Windows Insiders, and I can tell you on behalf of our team that we're really hoping to make a positive difference in your lives. You're helping us do that for the rest of the world. We love this community. We love your feedback and your support. And on behalf of the team, these are only a few members of the Your Phone app team that are public and active in Twitter. Thank you. Thank you for everything you do for Your Phone app. Jason.
I don't even know if I have any questions left to ask. This was this was beautiful. It was thorough. Like the few things that I wanted to ask you, you kind of touched on. It's almost like you've done this before.
My first webcast, but I mean, it was so easy to put this together just because we are just loving the community and the interaction with Windows Insiders. Like they have honestly helped us shape the product and put it into the right direction. So thank you. It was really easy to put this together.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Roberto.
Awesome. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Jason. Happy
Absolutely. And then Eddie, we have one more product lead that we would love to have a conversation with. If I could have you bring Spencer up to the group. Hi, Spencer. How's it going?
Hey, it's not going too bad. I'm happy to be here. This is very exciting. It is definitely my first webcast for any of this. So, obviously super familiar with the Insider program. Oh, my cat is joining me. Super familiar with the Insider program.
Hi.
And have been, using the feedback and the engagement with the program for a long time, but really excited to talk to the team directly and see what questions you've got.
Yeah. So the listeners out there in the audience and those watching who may not be familiar with the space that you work on, can you tell us a little bit about what feature area you're responsible for? Like how you engage with the community, and then of course the same question I've asked everybody else, kind of where in the world you are located.
Yeah. So I'm Spencer King. I'm a group program manager in Windows, and I work on sort of all of the input technology for Windows. So our software keyboards, voice input, pen input. I partner with a bunch of different folks all around the company on it, but our goal is really to make sure that Windows can adapt to your preferences of however you want to work, wherever you want it to work, at a desk, leaning back on the couch, etc., that kind of stuff. That making sure that in addition to just your posture, your physical posture, that cognitive preferences are respected, and that we can do things like enable you to write with your voice, or lean back and use a pen when you're reading a document or reading a web page. There's a really clear cognitive evidence of sort of cognitive preference and cognitive ability that different people have. They work better using different modalities, and so combining the really cool software that we get to build with the amazing hardware that our device manufacturer partners build, working really closely so we can emphasize those types of transitions that people have going from a desk and going gonna go sit on the couch, especially if it's work from home environment. Like those kinds of things are really what get me excited to enable people to work wherever they are, and however they sort of best are able to express themselves. I live in Seattle. I'm in my what used to be my children's nursery before coronavirus, and now it's my office. And they're old enough; they're not. I didn't kick them out. They have their own bedroom, but it's all still decorated with kid stuff all around on the walls. And so I've got the camera strategically placed just so you don't have to see all of that.
Well, I do like the plants in the background, and of course the random cat tail across the screen. Yeah. That's the joy of working from home, right? You introduce the family and daily life aspects, the reality of life into the work aspect of things. So one thing I will say, right, and I'm kind of hearkening back to one of our podcasts from actually a couple of years ago, was we did an entire podcast about accessibility. And the space that you work in, as you're kind of speaking through, the on-screen keyboards and input and inking and all this kind of stuff, like for me, my mind immediately jumps to this space, because this area, not only does it make life easier for every user, right? But if you look at those who have specific needs, to kind of enable them to interact with Windows in just kind of a standard way, but they need to do it a little bit differently. The work that you participate in and your team and those that you kind of drive these contributions into Windows with you have a huge role to play in that particular space.
Yeah, and in fact, I don't know, it was about it was a little bit more than a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. One of the other GPMs and I got together, and his organization is really focused on assistive technology and accessibility. And we got together and we saw, like, the sort of core input work that we do on my team, looking at voice, looking at touch, gestures, software keyboards, all of those types of things, complemented the accessibility story so well. And since we were both kind of figuring out how we wanted to organize and drive forward a much better, sort of coherent and cohesive experience where we can enable everybody and make our investments in these kinds of spaces pay off for folks who require assistive technology and extend to everyone else, or the reverse, like make it great to extend for the general population, and then also make it inclusive of folks who require assistive technology. We got together, we got into the same org, we kind of worked on reorging ourselves, and we combined our design teams to have one design team that works on all of the input and accessibility work together. And it's been an enormously gratifying progression from sort of where we were and then to where we are now. And it's like the flywheel's really spinning, and we're getting a ton of really interesting synergy between those two teams. And I think combining the design teams and organizing the engineering teams together has had like massive payoffs. And a lot of that will pay off more in the future, but it's a sign of great things to come.
So in this particular space, right, and I will once again, just because it's important to highlight the impact that the work that you and your team do has for the general experience for, in essence, anybody who touches Windows. What do you see as some of the key points of contribution that have come from insiders participating in the program? I know that I've helped triage some of the feedback in your space firsthand, and I even did, a study earlier this year where, input was one of the areas that I focused on, and it seems like insiders have a lot to say.
Yeah, they certainly do. Like, and it's really, really helpful. Outside the Windows insider population, there's 3 billion minutes spent writing on Windows every single day. Which is like, it's almost 3 billion. It's not quite 3 billion, but it's like, there's fractions and stuff, but it's like, it's a lot. And so like the scale,
I was going to say that's a whole lot of writing.
Yeah. And that's not like that's not trackpad time and mouse time and touch and all those types of, that's just typing, whether it's hardware keyboard or software keyboard. And so there's like, the scale of that is large, and, people use Windows to write the things that are the most important to them. They write letters to their family, they write their dissertation, they write their college application. And so like the empowerment that we can provide to customers in improving those, if we can just do a little bit 1% better to help people be able to write more efficiently, take less time, have better outcomes. We partner really closely with Office as well, because obviously like a lot of the major impact writing that people do is in Outlook or Office. And like, so like the scale outside of the insider population is massive, and every time we can improve it, we're leveling up the abilities of all people to sort of present themselves and do their best work in a better way. And the insider population has provided us like a lot of feedback, both like in, we have accountability for all languages. And so there's a lot of complexity in writing in non-Latin languages, like Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Indic script. There's tons and tons of languages. They all have different keyboards. They all have different ways of interacting with language. And the insider community has been extremely helpful in providing feedback in those areas, especially as we've changed and done big rollouts for the new the IMEs for Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. That's been enormously valuable. And then even more recently, we just pushed out to the insider population new software keyboards, the voice typing experience, as well as the emoji and GIF and clipboard history experiences that we've done. And there, in particular, like one, the hardware diversity that the insider population uses really helps us understand better how customers are going to experience it. Like the focus that they provide and detailed sort of feedback on user experience things that work well, things that are exciting, things that like, hey, like this doesn't work well on this particular hardware, like this aspect ratio or this screen size. Those things really matter. And it's one of the most fun things about this isn't just hearing the feedback. You know, there's these quests and other things, and you guys come and provide us written feedback about stuff. And boy, we read all of that. You know, Jennifer and Jason, you guys, we're looking at all of that stuff. But also just using it and sort of getting the telemetry back on how you interact with it, what works, what doesn't work, what sort of things are happening behind the scenes that our telemetry gathers. I'm like, oh, that's a problem. Like we didn't expect that to happen. None of you may have even reported it, but we see some of those types of system, things that turn out to be bugs. And then being able to roll out either with our weekly builds or in some cases, like we've got in the new input surfaces, the ability to push out changes via, out of band via service and see, like an hour after we push the, we sign off the change and push it out, seeing your usage in Windows Insiders prove to us that like, yep, nailed it, totally set. Like it's a difficult, complex, race condition in some kind of place. And it seems like it's going to work on our machines. We've done all the validation we can. Oh my God, like the amount of validation we got to do in Windows, given the deployment is so huge. But still, like just seeing your usage come back and the telemetry telling us nailed it, that's like really, really cool. And we monitor that stuff all the time. Like we are constantly looking at the data from the insider population to make sure that we're doing our job right, and that even when you aren't directly providing verbatim feedback to us, that your usage is still holding us accountable to making the best product that we can.
I know, like we've gone over the time that we were scheduled for the webcast, and no, this is not you. This is totally on me, right? This is me as I'm moderating, right? This is my fault, totally. But I want to be respectful of folks' time, but I also want to ask you a question. Given that this particular space is something that really everybody who uses Windows interacts with, do you see any notable differences between the type of insights or feedback that come in from insiders versus what you see in the retail space?
Well, certainly, like there are more lower end machines in the retail space than in the insider population, and that actually is important and is a big difference. So we do a lot of that coverage internally as well because it's harder. So that's one thing. I think generally like the level of attention to detail for like design elements or functional cases that are important to the insider population aren't always the same ones that even when it is really important in retail, people just sort of are like, they don't, whatever it is, they gloss over it. And so like the attention to detail and the clarity with which the insider population communicates back to us, like that's real money. That's really cool. That is like the such a difference between, because we do get a ton of feedback from the retail channels, but like the attention to detail and thoughtfulness and sort of willing, like, the feeling of camaraderie, like we're trying to do this together, right? That makes it so we really seek out the engagement with the insider population because of that. And I think that's a unique thing in the world, to have such a gigantic, billion plus customer base, and then have a set of, dedicated partners who are also our customers, who engage in that kind of thoughtful discourse back and forth. Like that attitude really, really helps. It's very, it's commendable, and like we can't thank you enough for it.
Awesome. I mean, I feel like I'm a bit of a broken record here, but I will say this because it's important to call this out. Like on behalf of all the insiders out there, on behalf of the billion plus users of the Windows 10 OS, It means the world, the work that your team is doing and the contributions that you bring to the table and enabling some of these global experiences, right? Especially in the language space, and then of course with typing and just everything. Like Windows wouldn't be what it is without those contributions. And I mean, you've echoed the same message that we've been echoing to insiders this entire broadcast of, the thank you, right? But the same thing applies in return. That the continuous work, the continuous improvement, listening and taking in that feedback, making adjustments on the fly. It's super duper appreciated, and I feel bad that we're kind of running out of time here. Like, hopefully I can get you and maybe some more of your team to come back on and we can talk a little bit more about this space again in the future, because there's so much here that 10 to 15 minutes worth of conversation just barely scratches the surface, and I would love to have you back on so we can dig in a little deeper.
Yeah, happy to do it. We love it, and anytime.
Awesome.
Thanks, Spencer.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. To the broader crew here, Jen, Vec, Brandon, Eddie, Amanda. I don't know. I've been doing a whole lot of talking. I guess that happens kind of every webcast, so I'll poke fun at myself a little bit for that. I will.
We're gonna start paying you by the hour, Jason.
Oh gosh,
by the word. We'll start paying you by the word.
Oh yeah. You know what? You can pay me by the word. There's a couple of housekeeping notes that I want to drop in here real quick that are super important to cover before we kind of go through closing wrap. In lieu of the October webcast, we adjusted some schedules and calendaring or whatnot. This is technically the October webcast, even though it's on September the 30th. We will be back in November with the next webcast. I've already got something super cool lined up. It'll be a little more technical in nature, but it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So we will announce the date in the next newsletter that'll come out in October. So you'll have plenty of time to put it on your calendar. We'll also announce it across social and in the answers forum. So that's forthcoming. I mentioned the podcast earlier in some of the conversation with Eric. If you want to listen to any of our past podcasts, which are not these live broadcasts, you can check those out. Go to aka.ms/WIP podcast. WIPPODCAST, and you can listen to all of those. We have them all published on our website. Then, as there wasn't a user research session scheduled for today, but the user research team has one coming up at the beginning of next week. We will broadcast it on social. It is Monday, October the 5th from 8 to 9:30 in the morning Pacific time. We'll put that out there so you can adjust for time zones depending on where you are in the world. We'll also drop the link to that session. It's in relation to PowerPoint and Presenter Coach. So I don't know how many of you have used that, but if you have, it would be a great opportunity to provide some feedback in that space. And then last but not least, one more note, and then I promise I will stop talking and I'll turn it over to you, Amanda. The video, if you weren't here with us at the beginning of the webcast, we did share a video that was contributed to by leaders from all across the company, especially in the Windows organizations, highlighting what this particular webcast was about, acknowledging the 6-year thank you. Really, it's really just a 6-year thank you to all the insiders out there who participate in this program, who contribute to what it is day in and day out. And it really is just one gigantic thank you from all of us to all of you for participating and making this what it is. We'll share that out on our social platform. I think it'll end up on YouTube. I know it's going on Twitter. Hopefully, maybe I can talk branding into dropping in a link to it in the next blog post or whatnot, just in case you don't happen to be on Twitter or whatnot, and you do read the blog post, you can check it out that way. Whew. That was a webcast. Oh my goodness. I'll say thanks again to all the guests, to the MVPs and the insiders who joined us, to the product leaders who came and joined us. Let me stop talking and turn it back over to the rest of the crew. Brandon, I'm looking at you first. Do you have anything that you want to add on here?
No, other than, we have a really cool article that we, we put live that we shared earlier in the chat for the 6-year anniversary, and it has a little bit of wallpaper there for you guys to check out. I hope you guys like it. We worked really hard on it to get it out in time for the webcast. But yeah, I mean, I think this was a really fun webcast, and we had a good group of guests. So I was really excited for you guys to hear from, folks like Spencer, for example. So yeah.
I'll go next if I just want to I know we're over time, so I don't take up too much, but I wanted to thank, Jason, Jennifer, Brandon, Vivek, Eddie, and Allison and Susie and all of the other people who are really a part of our core day-to-day insider team. You've been with the program for a very long time. Some of you guys, 6 years, some of you shorter, but really, I really want to say that I personally appreciate all of you guys as a part of the team. And insiders, as we start to kind of give more content like this, please let us know. Shoot us some thoughts on Twitter about what you'd like to see, and we're really happy to do it. And we're trying to make some adjustments here and there, and I really appreciate hearing about what you guys want to hear about. So feel free to hit us up on the Windows Insider Twitter handle so we can kind of pull that together. So thank you.
Jen?
Yeah, I don't really have much more to say. I mean, it's been an awesome 6 years. I can't believe it's been 6 years, but it's been awesome, and I'm really excited about the stuff that Spencer's been working on, and I'm looking forward to other things that are going to be lighting up. But yeah, I guess my parting note is share feedback. It really does make a difference. We've been like Spencer stuff. We've been reviewing people's comments. Like as soon as they come in, like the PMs nab them, and the devs too. Like when investigating stuff, and we promote them all to investigate. So yeah, but yeah, I'll keep it short. Just that. Love you. And I got a cat in my face.
Thanks, Jen. Vivek?
Yeah, I'm
Now
not a
that your
blue
video's
box
working.
anymore. Yeah, I know, I'm not a blue box anymore. Yay. So this is how I look for people who haven't seen me before. All I want to say is thank you. Thank you for being an insider. I've been part of the insider team for the last few years, and it's good to see the community grow. I had a pleasure of meeting a lot of you in a lot of these events. So I look forward to meeting you more. And yeah, happy anniversary, everyone.
Eddie, how about you?
Last and least, right?
No, of course not.
Saving the best for last, Eddie.
Oh, is that
there
what
it is.
Okay, I'll take it. All right, I'll keep it really short. I do want to say I've been an insider since the beginning, 6 years ago. I've only been on the team for a little over a year now, and I definitely enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy working and helping the insiders get their feedback back to the right people. So please, as Jen said, keep leaving that feedback. We do see it. We do talk about it. We do try to get it in the right hands to make things happen. So we really appreciate everything you guys are doing. Just keep doing it. Keep up the good work.
Awesome. We're way over time, but again, thank you all for kind of sticking it out and joining us. Apologize for the little midstream reboot that we had, but glad I fixed it up. It's been one heck of a journey. 6 years is no small feat. There's a lot more to come. So we look forward to the continued participation. We look forward to interacting with you more. We're looking forward to all the feedback and everything that is yet to come. So once again, thank you so much. Here's to 6 years, and here's to what is yet to come. On behalf of the entire Insider team and to everybody across the Windows org and the Microsoft kind of broadly, once again, thank you so very much, and thank you for making the time to join us today.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.